And good morning, everybody. Welcome. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, how are you this morning?
I am well.
Yep.
The Rockies have 11 more chances, Eric, to get the one win that would separate them from the Chicago White Sox for greatest futility in a major league season in the modern era. Lost last night, so 11 chances to get one win. That's what we're looking for.
Okay. And then once the season is over, how big do you believe that broom will be in that front office and throughout the scouting department and throughout everything?
What you just asked is how big do I think it will be?
Yep.
I know how big it should be.
Right.
I was just talking with Alex before we started.
Who's Alex?
Yeah, our executive producer who makes this happen.
Him.
So anyway, we're talking about my mom, who's a huge Mariners fan, and right now they're on fire, absolutely on fire. Red Sox look like they're going to make it in. So we've been talking a little baseball, but I made the comment to him that the Rockies are my second favorite team. And I'm about to leave and shut this down. So I leave still with the Rockies being my second favorite team. But I told him, and I will tell you, I'm done with the Rockies if they don't make wholesale changes. If they get to this point of where they are with the type of and a potential change in leadership now, if they don't make wholesale changes, I'm done. And I just won't have a team in the National League. That's it.
It's kind of like somebody's dealing with a substance abuse issue or alcohol issue. You have to admit to yourself that you have a problem, and do something about it. If they don't realize after 3 consecutive 100-loss seasons and tap dancing on the line of history, if they don't realize they have a problem now, they will never realize it.
Truer words were never spoke. Well said.
When on Friday and Saturday night you are passed out on the side of the road underneath an overpass, and that's consistent every weekend, and you don't think to yourself, you know what? I might need to do something about this. That will be your final resting place.
Yeah, right. You can only be beat over the head so many times with a 2x4 before you try to stop it.
Right. And the 2x4 they're getting hit with has nails completely through that 2x4.
Yeah.
On the other end, and you keep getting plugged in the face.
Yeah, it's more like a 4x8 with nails. So it's bad.
Okay, so we're talking a little baseball. Let's talk some. What's that?
You're right. Absolutely. I'm saying I'm sorry. I didn't mean to digress, but I'm continuing to watch it with some interest.
Okay, so talked a little baseball. I don't know if sports bars are a great place to watch the Rockies because they're probably empty bars if the Rockies are only on, unless you went there to see your friends or go there for a drink special or two. During the football season, whether your team is bad or not, people are packing bars.
Sure.
And the place you should go to is the Sportsbook Bar and Grill. You can find them in the DTC and also in Highlands Ranch. Coming soon to Parker, by the way. On Broncos Sunday, you can win a Broncos jersey during every Broncos regular season game at each location. Plus, Sportsbook has Coors Light, and other great drink specials. It's a great place to go on Saturday, specifically if you're an Iowa fan, to the DTC, Highlands Ranch. If you are a fan of Ohio State, they have it's just such a fun place to go. My spot, I started off at the DTC, and then when they built the place in Highlands Ranch, I'm like, man, that's even closer to my house. Menu is great. The wait staff is friendly. It's always a fun atmosphere. Head on over to the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in the DTC, Highlands Ranch, and once again, coming soon to Parker. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Today, the media goes back to Dove Valley to talk to the players and coaches about the game on Sunday against the Chargers. It is a big one. We addressed it yesterday, that this could be a turning point for the entire AFC West. If the Broncos don't win this game, you can make the case that every team after this weekend will be 1-2, and the Chargers will be 3-0, with the Chargers beating all three of those teams. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, the Broncos beat the Colts. Let's say that leverage penalty doesn't happen. let's say Lutz hits that field goal. Wins will kind of whitewash bad things that happen in a game. Hey, well, we won the game. It's hard to win in the NFL. So let's say they won. How would you be feeling about the Broncos against the Chargers on Sunday if they would have won? And
Pretty
really,
much.
does it feel any different that they lost?
No, when the margin between winning and losing is is a penalty called on the second play of a long field goal attempt, there's no difference whatsoever. So my feeling is probably, even if the Broncos were 2-0, is exactly the same. The Broncos have been inconsistent. The Broncos have not played clean football. They may have played winning football. They're 2-0. It'd be 2-0 against 2-0. I've seen enough from the Chargers on the road in both games to know that is a competent a very good defensive football team, better than a competent offensive football team. That's only going to get better with some of the weapons that they have. And I've seen Justin Herbert on a nice bounce back season after an injury plagued year a season ago. And I think that the Chargers are a definite threat. And I think also, as we talked yesterday, that they're I don't want to say the clear team to beat. It wouldn't be stunning to go see the Broncos go into LA and win this game. I'm not saying it's out of the realm. I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't pick it for whatever that's worth. But no, I think I would feel exactly the same way.
I want to piggyback on something that you just said, but slightly disagree.
Sure.
Justin Herbert is not having a bounce back season.
No.
He is having the best season of his career in every statistical category passing. And I think the most yards he's ever rushed for is like a tick over 300. He's on pace for nearly 550 yards rushing.
Right.
His wheels are back. He's in his second year under Jim Harbaugh. Now think about this. What did we say? Bo Nix is in his second year under Sean Payton. The difference is Herbert has been doing this for a while.
Yep.
Okay. So, and when you look at the pass catchers that they have, nobody really jumps off the page at you, but they all do different things, and they're all talented guys, right? You have Johnson, who's your deep threat. You have Keenan Allen, who is the veteran, maybe a little bit past his prime, but reliable. Then you have Ladd McConkey, who is like a Wes Welker, a Julian Edelman, a little spark plug that is small, hard to tackle. He's like a little amoeba that you see in science class.
But fearless in the middle.
Screen. What's that?
Fearless in the middle, though. He'll go anywhere to catch a football.
So with that, looking at Herbert with what he's doing statistically, and the team is winning as well, are you starting to get concerned, unless you would have said, well, I was concerned before? Are you concerned that with the way Herbert is playing this year, we're only 2 games in, he is on track now to join the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks in football today?
Wow.
Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, could be Burrow, could be Jalen Hurts, could now be Justin Herbert.
No, he still has mountain to climb to get to that spot. But I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan, have been a Justin Herbert fan since his days at Oregon. Loved him coming out and believe in him greatly. He's still a quarterback that's basically a 500 kind of quarterback in terms of winning. He's got to win some playoff games if we're going to start talking about him in that kind of way. But to your point, Eric, and I'll line up with you on this one, you can make an argument that he is off right now to one of the best starts of a quarterback in the NFL. Certainly a top 5 kind of start. He's been extremely good within the offense, very good in the running game, but he's thrown the ball well, and he hasn't forced things. He's taken what defenses have given him, and they haven't turned the ball over. the Chargers are off to a really good start, and two of the big reasons is they play the hell out of defense and they get very good quarterback play. And Eric, we haven't even seen them with the full strength of their running game going, right? We haven't seen that yet. At some point, you're going to get Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton working on, the same kind of rhythm, and they're going to put up a 180-yard rushing game.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So that's the part of their offense that concerns me a little bit, because that's been a little slow to get there. Herbert's been their leading rusher through the first two games. That's not something or other that Jim Harbaugh wants to see for sure. So, I would say that the Chargers are a problem, but they're not so much of a problem that you can't overcome it. The Broncos have got to take care of themselves this week and have got to put themselves in a cleaner, more consistent position to win a football game on the road, which, even if they do that, is still a hard thing to do against a good team on the road. Win a game.
Let's put something into perspective here. The difference between Sean Payton's offense and Jim Harbaugh's offense. Right now, the Chargers have a better passing game because they have the better quarterback. Now, we have talked a lot about, Sean Payton staying committed to the run, running early. That's not in his DNA. Do I think that will continue for the rest of the season, what we saw in the Colts game? I wouldn't necessarily bet on it. Would you?
No.
Okay. So with that, the Chargers have been more of a passing team, even though it was basically 50-50 run pass. Again, I watched the game start to finish the other night. It felt like they threw it 50 times and ran it 5, even though the stats don't suggest that.
Right.
My point is that Jim Harbaugh is doing things depending on the defense that he is seeing. Okay. Sean Payton will throw the ball even if he is seeing a defense that is set up to stop the pass, right? He will do that. But look at what happened in the Titans game.
He likes to throw the ball, yes.
With that, no one who is a Chargers fan should ever be worried is Jim Harbaugh committed to the run.
Well, that's who Jim Harbaugh is.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
So even though their running game has not taken off yet, Jim Harbaugh will eventually go back to his roots at some point because that's who he is. And as long as the Chargers keep passing the ball well, eventually defenses are going to have to play them a little bit more honestly, and that's where you're going to see that running game.
Yeah, anytime that you're facing a Jim Harbaugh team from Stanford to the 49ers to Michigan and now the Chargers, the first thing that you have to deal with is their ability to run the football. Because when we talk about DNA, that's part of his DNA, just as it's part of Sean's DNA that he likes to see the ball in the air. And you know what? They both had success with their different ways and approaches of doing things. But it's the adjustments of who you are and your willingness to morph into the type of offense that you've got to be each week to be successful. I don't think anyone's fooling them. I'm certainly not trying to fool myself into thinking that if Bo Nix drops back 48 times against the Chargers, that they've got any chance in hell in winning a football game on the road against that defense. No chance at all. And if that's what they're dialing up behind closed doors, go ahead and prove it, but I don't like your chances. It's incumbent upon every coaching staff each week to devise a game plan that gives your skill set the best chance against the skill set that you're facing. So I think that they found something offensively in the game against the Colts. They could have easily scored 31, 35 points in that game. They didn't score in the fourth quarter. We've talked about why they didn't score in the fourth quarter. But Bo Nix was in a very good rhythm. And why was he in a good rhythm? Well, they were running the ball well. It was setting up play action. Then he was able to make some plays off schedule. I mean, that's the kind of rhythm that you want to see Bo Nix in.
Right. Jumping back to Herbert.
Sure.
Played in 2 playoff games.
Yep.
Lost both. His completion percentage, if you had to guess, what do you think his completion percentage has been in those 2 playoff games?
58%.
52%.
There you go. That's all
A
you
guy
need to know.
who is considered
Right.
to be as talented as any quarterback in the league. So, how many steps up the ladder will Justin Herbert take this year? It's about winning in the playoffs. For him, it's not about stats. We know he can put up big stats, but he has the right coach now for him. It's funny, the Chargers are going to Charger. Do you really feel that under Jim Harbaugh, they're really going to Charger? Injuries, I understand, will happen.
Right.
But this is a smart, disciplined football team.
Yes.
And
yeah,
also under Jim Harbaugh, they're one of the least penalized teams in the NFL as well over his last full year last year and a couple of games this year. I'd be a little bit concerned with how, for lack of a better phrase, disciplined the Chargers are playing against a Denver team that doesn't accrue a lot of penalties. They just accrue penalties at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And that is discipline, period.
Well, they're in the bottom half of the league in penalties against. They are at the bottom of the league in turnovers against and turnover differential. So, I mean, they've got, Sean loves to talk about the race to the quarter pole, right? And we're all on board with that. I understand the thinking. You want a time when you think that you know what you have, and 4 games in seems like a reasonable time to stop, pause, and take stock. Because you also get to see what everyone else around you has. And that's probably just as important as knowing what you have, at least 4 weeks in. So, the Broncos have a lot further stretch to get better in 2 weeks than the Chargers do at this point, right? They do. Even if they do the right thing and don't try to defend ridiculously, a 60-yard field goal attempt, and they end up winning the game. Even if they win the game, it doesn't really change the narrative. The narrative is the same. The Broncos metrically are in the same place, other than they'd be 2-0. But they're still slight underdogs on the road against a team that they can beat if fill in the blank.
I'll ask you today on a Wednesday. I believe the Broncos are underdogs by what, 2.5, 3.5 points?
Yep.
Okay. Are you taking the Broncos and the points?
No.
Me either.
No, not at this point. There's just too many things that what do you count on? I'll ask you this right now. What do we count on right now for the Broncos? You
would like to say their defense, but after they got shredded by Daniel Jones and that Colts offense, and they marched up and down the field. They had 3 scoring drives that were 80-plus yards. They had a couple of 50, 60-yard drives sprinkled in there as well.
Okay.
So you're probably not feeling that good about the defense right now.
So
you're not feeling that great about the special teams.
Nope.
And the offense, you've had a tale of 2 completely different games.
Totally. And even in the game that they were really good, they were not a factor when they needed to be in the fourth quarter. When, as you remind me a lot on this show, when do you win football games in the NFL? In the fourth quarter, because they're generally close games. The irony is that shouldn't have been a close game. It should have been an 8-point game about 2 or 3 different times in the fourth quarter. And that may sound close, but in the NFL, it's not as close as you think. But be that as it may, you've got to be able to execute in the fourth quarter and close games out. Broncos haven't proven that. So the answer to my question earlier, What can you depend on from the Broncos at this point? What can you hang your helmet on? The answer is nothing at this point.
Here's the segue of the week. What is the Broncos' identity?
Don't know.
Now, the reason why I bring that up, Deion Sanders doesn't think culture is a thing, doesn't think identity is a thing. And Deion addressed that yesterday, and I'm thinking for a guy who knows as much about football as anyone, to poo-poo culture like he did last year and identity yesterday, I'm thinking, he's like, well, the coaches I talk to, what coaches are you talking to? That's next. Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Maverick Tremor truck or over $25,000 in cash the weekend of October 24th. Daily cash drawings are every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Players can earn daily entries with every locked-up jackpot or by redeeming players' points on their players' cards. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, phenomenal promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
And welcome back. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Want to tell you about Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. If you have any needs for a furnace, and now it's starting to get a little bit chillier outside, or you need your HVAC tuned up, or you need a new one, highly recommend you go to Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. The one thing that I really like about their business model is they refuse, and I mean refuse, to sell you something that you do not need. And I love working with companies like that because they're not looking to upsell you because it's about them, because they want to make money. With Ferguson's Heating and Cooling, it is about the customer. If it needs a fix, even if they have to lose money on a service call, they're willing to do that. Nobody wants to lose money, but they do their business model with integrity. It is about the customer. It is not about them and how much money they can make. Those are the type of companies that I only want to work with. I would think that is the same thing for you. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Deion Sanders has forgotten more about football than I know. And with all due respect, Bruce, you as well.
Oh, without question.
But unfortunately, somebody needs to sit him down and explain some basic fundamentals of sports and specifically football. Last year, he was asked about culture. He's like, what's culture? Ask most coaches, and they will tell you culture is very important in that locker room where guys are pulling for each other. It's a place you want to go to work, and it's a place where you want to win. Yesterday, he was asked about identity. He said, I don't know coaches that seek identity. I think a coach seeks wins. You can call it what you want, but it looks the way it looks. I don't care what kind of car we pull up in. As long as we pull out of here with a W, I'm good. With that, the Buffs do not have an identity on offense or on defense. What was their identity last year? Shedeur Sanders, who could make miracle plays, high completion percentage, and you knew that your secondary, if you're a defensive coordinator, you knew that secondary would be on its heels all day. What's the Philadelphia Eagles' identity? Running the ball down your throat. You better put on your big boy pants before you hop onto that field, because you know that Eagles team is going to try and bludgeon you. What is the Chiefs' identity? Their identity is Patrick Mahomes, where late in the game, it might sink into your head that, you know what, I don't know if we're going to win this game if he has the ball last. You want to, because he said, well, what is identity? Bruce, you want to start? Want to explain to Deion Sanders what identity is?
Well,
because apparently he doesn't know, or he doesn't want to talk about it publicly, or he doesn't have it and he's embarrassed.
Well, he doesn't have a dictionary version of what identity is. He's saying you can call it what you want. But I will ask the same question of CU that I just asked about the Broncos. And it has to do, to me, with identity. What do you count on? Right. What do you absolutely count on? Whatever it is that you count on, that's a great place to start with the identity of the team that you coach. Right. What can I count on? I don't know what Deion can count on at this point. Can he count on his running game? Can he count on his quarterback play? Can he count on his defensive unit? Does he count on his special teams? I'm not sure that they do have much of an identity right now because they don't have anything that they can count on. Show me something that once you develop it that you can count on, and I'll begin to give you a definition of what an identity is.
Right. When you look at the quarterback situation, Salter was really good at Liberty. I don't know if how good he's going to be for the Buffs, but he was more than pretty good. Bottom line is, this was Deion Sanders' choice. This is who he targeted to be his starting quarterback this season. 5-star recruit in Juju, clearly not ready yet. A young guy. This is life without Shedeur and Travis Hunter. Mm-hmm. I talked to somebody very close to the program, and he brought up a couple of points to me. I'm certainly not going to tell you who it is, but at the end of the day, I value this guy's opinion. I said to him about the rest of the season. I said, what do you think the rest of the season looks like? And he said, I can see him losing every game. That's what he said to me. Wow. I can see. Now, let me throw something else there. He goes in the Big 12. You can lose every game, but you could almost win every game too, because it's not a crazy difficult conference, right? Not like the SEC and not like the Big Ten. But this is the point that he brought up to me, because I called him to talk about the defense, and I said, "Is this a coaching issue or is this a talent issue?" And he said to me, Deion probably would not have recruited anyone except for maybe one or two guys out of high school. He said, take him in the transfer portal, but he wouldn't have recruited any of these guys out of high school. That should tell you the talent level right now of Colorado. And we keep hearing about the transfer portal and where this guy came from. When you leave another program, you are leaving for a reason. You might feel that you're better than you are, and you're pissed off at the coach that he's not playing you, so you leave. Or maybe you're just not that good. I think the transfer portal has finally caught up to Deion Sanders. 4 new guys on that offensive line.
Yeah.
Are they running the ball better? They are, but considering where they were last year, there was only one way to go.
Yeah.
There isn't a strength anywhere,
No,
really, on this team.
no, not a definable one.
No.
Not a consistent one. And we're 3 weeks in. They are at the quarter pole. How many quarterbacks are going to play this weekend, do you think, against Wyoming?
Well, let's start with this. Who do you think will be the starting quarterback?
Salter?
It'll be Salter.
That would be my guess.
Now, the question is he going to go Delaware football and treat Wyoming like a homecoming opponent or a scrimmage and every 2 series? Or do you think he sticks with Salter?
It's a good question. I would pay attention. Wyoming's a little more of an emotional game for the opponent coming in, and they've proven themselves to be at least a serviceable football team to this point.
Right.
They did lose a game last weekend, but they can at least play a little bit. So I would be wary of Wyoming. I would think that I don't think that Salter plays the whole game. I think he'll mix things up a little. I think he will, because I don't think he knows yet. I just don't think he knows. I mean, was Staub really the issue in the second half of that game against Houston? Well, if they didn't score points until late in the second half, I mean, I guess you can make a fairly good argument against what he did or didn't do. So it leaves you in week 4 still searching for an answer. That's pretty late in the season.
Right.
It really is. So
it's funny when I look at Colorado football, the last 2 years, specifically last year, and you look at the New England Patriots when they had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. The question was, okay, is it Belichick or is it Brady? We found out clearly it is Brady. And while all the eyes were always on Deion Sanders, I think we have found out it was Shedeur and it was Travis Hunter. And now those guys are gone. And now with the talent that they have on the roster, which I think has been, that I believe was overvalued before the beginning of the season, this is where coaching needs to set the culture, needs to set the identity. And I don't know if Deion Sanders and his coaching staff is good enough to do that with the players that they have.
I have never coached at that level, obviously.
I coached 8-year-old baseball.
Bingo. How'd your club do?
Actually, we went to the championship game 2 years in a row.
There you go.
It's all about culture.
Yep.
It was listen.
You can plant that flag.
We took those kids to Red Rocks 3 times a week, and they ran stairs.
The thing that I am, the thing that you bring up the portal, and it will always be connected for as long as Deion Sanders is the coach at Colorado. We will be talking about the transfer portal, period. But in fairness, we talk about the transfer portal in a lot of places around college football right now. It's the way that business is done, a part of the way that business is done.
Well, listen, the good teams supplement with the portal.
Right. And
they don't build a team with the portal. And oh, by the way, if you're not playing well in your first year at Colorado, you might want to leave.
Yeah.
Because Deion will probably be in your grill, so the coaches and so on and so forth. And he might think, well, we better make mass changes again because it didn't work with the offensive line this year. We didn't have enough talent on defense.
And good job. You took the words literally out of my mouth. It seems to me, watching it and trying to study it, that if you can supplement what you're doing in the portal with a foundation of young players that you are bringing in and cultivating, which is a harder thing to do in the portal era, right? I mean, it's harder to keep those players and having them believe in what you're doing and that their time will come, because patience is it's a great virtue, but it's in short supply in college football these days. but being able to form a group almost from scratch every year out of the portal, I think that's hard for anyone, no matter how much football they know, no matter how much of a career they had in doing it, no matter how much more smart they are than the guys that are commenting on football. I think that's a really hard thing to do. Chemistry takes time, and time is something or other that's pretty hard to get more of in college football these days. You've got to put it together quickly, and you've got to hope that it works quickly. And I don't think that Colorado right now, as we sit here in week 4, has that figured out. Having said that, they've got a chance to go, and they should. And my expectation is that they will go to 2-2 this weekend against a Wyoming team that they should just be able to beat because Jimmy's and Joe's that they've got on the roster.
Okay.
All right.
The Buffs have a pretty impressive streak going. Dating back to last year, every game they played has been on national television, national cable, whatever you want to call it, ESPN, Fox, so on and so forth. They will play on national television again against Wyoming. Then they have another nationally televised game next week against BYU. Let's say they beat Wyoming, but they get bludgeoned by BYU, and that would not surprise me.
Not at all.
Okay. If you are a Buffs fan and they're not playing well, and right now they are not playing well, do you want to keep watching them on national television?
Yeah, it's a good question. If BYU were to bludgeon them, they'd be 2-3, but they'd be 0-2 on the short end of 2 blowouts, essentially, in the Big 12. So, it's not the Buffs effect; it's the Deion effect. That's why games are on national television. I know you can't separate the two, but if Deion Sanders was the head coach at Mississippi's on a lot anyway, you get my point. But if he was the head coach somewhere else at a program similar to Colorado, they'd be doing the same thing there. There is a understandable curiosity about what Deion Sanders brings to the table. He's just one of those characters. He is. And it's great. It's great for any program that he is connected with. That goes without saying. But yeah, at some point, and we've talked about this, it's about winning football games. The curiosity factor, the want to be connected to it factor, at some point will wear off if you're not winning football games. They won football games last year. They won 9 times. And they were in a position to compete for a Big 12 title down the stretch.
When they needed to win, they didn't win.
They didn't win, right.
And they were helped by a very favorable schedule. No BYU, no Iowa State. Those would have been more than likely losses.
Yeah.
Now they're facing those teams.
Yeah, they are. Their schedule is much more difficult. Utah is back to being Utah.
Right.
Iowa State's a very good football team. Texas Tech is a pretty good football team. TCU is a pretty good football team. You've got, it's going to be tougher to find wins this year. I mean, I'll go back to what we said at the beginning of the season. 6-6 would be, I think, a pretty good record for this football team, which has a chance to go to 2-2 this week. So I'll stick with 6-6, gets them to a bowl game. The CU people are going to have to figure out what that really means to them. Is that enough for them? Is that what they expect? Is that going to massage them? I don't know the answer to that, but that's where they are, I think.
Here's the thing. Every coach is entitled to a rebuild year or two.
Yeah.
Okay. Lost Travis, lost Shador.
Sure.
But when you talk about a rebuild, you want to look at your young talent and say, we're going to grow from here.
Yep.
Outside of Jordan Seaton, what are they really growing with?
Yeah, because I don't know.
Now, you can make the case Juju.
Well, I don't think Juju will be a part of this program next year.
Why?
Why would he be?
Well, he's going to be I would think that Staub is not going to be the starting quarterback next year. I don't know if Staub will start this year again. He was the third string quarterback, and sorry, he kind of looked like it in their last game against Houston.
Well, he did for a half. He wasn't bad in the first, but
bad.
I'm with you. You're
not going to win a lot of games, with all due respect to Staub.
No.
You're not going to win a lot of games in major college football with Staub. He's a good guy to bring in, but not the type of guy. You know what? He's similar to Jarrett Stidham. You can bring him in every once in a while, but you don't want to start 5-6 games with him.
Well, they don't have a quarterback on the roster that can win them games just by being the quarterback. They don't have that right now. Shedeur was a guy that they had that could win them some games, right?
Yep,
he was, and he's a guy that did win them some games. He won them the game. I mean, he won them the game against Baylor. I mean, I'm just remembering that one right off the top of my head. I mean, unless they make that play at the end, they don't win that game. And that was a Shedeur Sanders special. But until you have some form of identity in your offense, and you know what you can count on.
What'd you say? So you have what?
Until you have, and I'm using the term
identity,
purpose, right?
Correctly.
We're going back to the beginning of the conversation to tie this all up.
Right.
Until you have something that you can count on in your offense, right?
Yep.
You can't count on running the football. You can't count on a quarterback winning you a game with their arm right now.
And you sure as hell can't count on stopping the run.
No, you can't. Those are all things that have got to get better. And
you know what happens when you don't have an identity? You have a house of misfit toys.
Sure.
That's
you got. Exactly right. That's right. And then you're trying to beat people on talent alone. And
they don't have it.
And I hate to tell people, that's hard to do in college football at the level of football that they're playing. It is. So that's the challenge moving forward. And it's also the challenge not only of this football team, Eric, but more importantly of Deion and his staff. Okay, here's what you are 3.5 weeks in. You know where you want to get. What steps can you take to ensure that from a coaching standpoint? That to me is where the pressure is at Colorado right now.
We just really talked about the offense. When you look at the defense for the Buffs, you have guys that are out of position, miscommunication on the field as well. They have a lot of former NFL players on that coaching staff. How good's the pass rush? I thought Warren Sapp was going to change all of it.
Yeah.
You have D'Amata Pecco, terrific guy, played for the Broncos. That defensive line is like fishnet stockings.
Yeah. Well, see,
holes everywhere.
They're not playing with Warren Sapp, and they're not playing with Pecco. They're playing with guys that those guys are trying to teach. And
when you have guys who are out of position and missed assignments, we can look at the pro game and say, these guys are pros. When you look at the college game, I think coaching is far more important.
Oh, my God, yes.
You're dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-old kids.
Yes. Yeah, it's I don't want to say it's a different kind of challenge. I don't want to say it's much more challenging, but anytime that you're dealing with inexperienced players trying to play at that level, even if as talented as they are, you've got to really be able to communicate schemes and purposes of what you're trying to do. Because if you don't have that buy-in and if you don't have that understanding, then things like what happened in the second half at Houston are going to continue to happen. I am curious to see how much more buttoned up Colorado is going to be this week against a Wyoming team that they should be able to line up and beat. But Eric, there's nothing that you can take for granted right now. Even Delaware.
Right.
Delaware is not a good football team. Delaware was in a position to be 10-7 at the half.
Yeah.
Receiving the second half kickoff. So at this point, they've done nothing to make you think, oh, I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about plenty.
That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl, make it the best possible day you can.